How you doing, YouTube? It's Will from Will Development. It's my 365th weekly update. Finally back at the gym, and this week was mostly just sort of a test week kind of thing. This wasn't a week really to go too crazy with anything. This was just testing out some new stuff, testing out some old stuff, and seeing where I'm at to help write the new programming for the following, well, really long while, honestly. It'll be at least, based on what I'm seeing, I've got at least 12 weeks of uninterrupted anything, just shy of 3 months or so, since we're in mid-September, so by mid-December will be the end of this kind of block that I'm planning out. And then I'm assuming I'll have a show coming up in February and then in April, so whatever is going on in whatever events end up coming out in February, then I'll start gearing my training more towards those events, and we'll go from there. Did see the events drop for Florida's Strongest, which is in December. I want to say it's like December 18th. And honestly, I'm like looking at the weights and stuff, and I'm like, I can actually do most of that. And I don't know about do well, but I can do most of that. And I'm just kind of like, should I do it? Should I not? I sort of promised that I wouldn't. And that's okay. That I don't. Either way, we'll see how I feel as I get closer. Maybe in mid-November we'll see how I'm feeling. If I, for some reason, just shoot up in strength and weight goes back down nice and easy, then we'll think about it. But as of right now, I'm not going to do it. So the plan is to just spend the next solid, good 3-ish months of training, which I have not had in a very long time. Just thinking back on the last couple of years, it's just been a show every couple months, and it's been challenging to just sort of sit back and do everything that I want to do. You know what I mean? When it comes to training. So, like I said, got in this week, testing out some new little things that I want to start working on. One of the biggest ones is actually squatting with heels in a high bar position, with my toes pointed more forward, to try to emphasize the quads just a little bit more. Basically what I'm doing is I'm training that way for my main sets, and then back off sets / accessories, if you want to call it that. I'm doing still the flat shoed and obviously not heeled high bar as almost an accessory to that, usually with a little bit higher volume, just to keep that sort of flexibility and as well as that movement pattern still down, because I don't plan on using my lifters for stones, so I need to be able to keep that sort of squat movement without heels, something that I can still perform, basically. Keep it in my repertoire, I guess would be the phrase. Tuesday was some strict pressing. I wanted to see where I still was with strict pressing. I believe I got all the way up to 180, I think, which is fine by me. That's as far as no, I think I did 185. Body weight, I didn't even really write anything down. I was just like, all right, where am I still? How much did I lose on this? How much did I lose on that? That sort of thing. Lost a bit on squat and deadlift, not so much on pressing, which is totally fine right now, because I know deadlift will come back quick, and so will squats. And honestly, I played it a little safe. Ended up just working up to 405 without straps, just hook grip and a belt on yesterday, and that felt fine. Probably had a little bit more, maybe, if I really, really wanted to push it. I had the number 400 in my head, so I was like, let me just go to 400 and make sure I can still do that, which I can, so I'm fine with that. And yeah, strict press is still pretty much there, so I'm happy with that. And then today I did some push pressing just to make sure I still had that, and I was still able to hit I hit 195, but honestly, I was like, oh, I could have hit 200 if I really wanted, if I wanted to, because the 195 wasn't that bad. So I'm like, cool. I've still got that right now, which is good. So yeah, everything's still it's just gonna take a little bit to get slightly back into it. I was off for about 2 weeks, which is the most time I've taken off from training and done just like nothing. It's the most I've taken off in about 3 or 4 years probably. But it's fine. I'll get back into it next week. I'll jump right back on a program. I'm still tweaking and writing stuff out. And then you know me, I always tweak as I go too. Nothing's ever set in stone, except for Atlas stones. And we'll just go from there. And hopefully it'll all work out, and I'll get nice and strong in preparation for next year's season, where I'll actually be able to, maybe finally place at a show. I mean, honestly, I've gotten better over the last couple of years, and I've just always just gotten a little bit better. I mean, I think I talked about it with Tampa, where that was the first show that I didn't come last because somebody was worse than me. I didn't come last because I was better than other people. And there's a difference, you know what I mean? It's like if somebody's just fails because, they're awful, it's like, yeah, there's really no pride in beating that. It's not, maybe it wasn't their best day, that kind of thing. But I think I got like third or fourth, maybe even fifth from last at Tampa's, or at the Europa. And it was because I was better than those guys that I beat. And that was a good feeling. And I'd like to carry that forward into the next, like I said, into the next season, and go from there. So I think a nice 3 months of a solid program would be nice. I'd like to walk out of the program with like honestly, it would be really awesome to have almost a 500-pound deadlift. If I could pull 5 plates, 495, that would be sweet. I'd like to be squatting back in the high threes consistently, especially with high bar. That'd be awesome. And then pressing, I would like that to be in the 210s, 220s consistently. That would be nice to be able to push press, strict press, I don't care. It'd probably be push or jerk. 220s. That would be nice to come out of this block with. And I think those are realistic. I mean, I was able to get to 465 on a deadlift in a matter of a few months of just focusing on it and doing it, and just putting in the work. And same thing with my press. I mean, I've ebbed and flowed with it, but for the most part, it's always gone up. I mean, I get reminded all the time of my prior achievements with that lift, where it was like, oh my god, like 3 or 4 years ago, I think 3 years ago, hitting 135 for 1 on like a starting strength style press was a victory. And now I can strict 135 for 10, you know what I mean? Basically any day of the week. So yeah, I think it's realistic for me to say around 220. That would be nice to have that as a push press out of the rack. And if I can get there, then I'll go back to practicing, cleaning an axle, change my technique a little bit on that, and then I'm also going to work on split jerk this block too. It's such a good technique to get more weight up. So although I love strict pressing, the reality is if I want to win shows, I need to be faster, and strict pressing heavyweight is usually not very fast. Jerking heavyweight can be pretty fast, and just a little less taxing on at least the upper body musculature to some extent. I guess it probably evens out either way, but the best pressers I've seen, they all do a split jerk, so I might as well work on that. So yeah, good week back. Everything feels good, nice and sore. Haven't been sore in a while, so that feels good. And it's good to be back. So don't be afraid to take some time off competing, and even take some time off of training, as long as you come back with a good plan, nice and focused. That's how I feel now. I feel nice and focused. So don't be afraid to take a little time off. If you are, then what's your excuse?